Hi YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and this is Outsiders, and today we're going to be going slightly off our normal subjects. I saw something very interesting on the Role Players Public Forum website. Hope I've got that right. Recently joined it thanks to one of the people that keeps replying to my videos. I'll just refer to him here as Ben. Hi Ben, and thank you very much for your thoughts and feedback. It's most welcome. But this was an interesting article I saw. It's called 3rd Edition Balance. Does it balance? And I saw quite a lot of, it was very heated. There's quite a lot of points of view and everything else like that. So for the purpose of this video, which I hope won't last more than the 10 minutes allotment of time, I'm going to try and explain why 3rd edition is balanced. I'm really talking about 3.5 here. I'm primarily talking about the core books, that's the DMG, the Player's Handbook and the Monster Manual. I'm not talking about Pathfinder, I'm just purely talking about that. The first thing to understand is that if we're talking about class against class, it's an unwinnable situation because it all depends on the situation that those classes find themselves in. You know, so can a wizard beat a fighter? Potentially on a one-on-one fight, a wizard should beat a fighter. However, if the fighter gets the jump and has a full round of actions, depending on his level, that wizard's in a lot of trouble. And if the wizard is in that much trouble and he tries to get off one more spell and it doesn't work, he's toast. So actually it's a moot point. So where I'm coming from here is 3rd edition balance, is from a group point of view. If you know what you're doing in 3rd edition, if you understand the mechanics of the game, then of course 3rd edition is balanced. You can't even, no matter what level you play at, it's clearly balanced game. You have to have, without a doubt, the way that the game is set up, you have to have each of the core classes. Now in my other videos I've examined the fighter, the cleric, the thief and the wizard. I haven't looked at the others yet. I was going to get round to them, but there's a particular reason I've left them out. Those 4 classes are what I call the core classes. Now depending on your group size will actually determine how many of those classes ideally you need. Now I'm not saying how you should play or whether the game's telling you which way to play or any of that sort of thing. All I'm saying is it's just from a logical point of view, over many years as the DM, what I've seen work best. And most groups realise, most experienced groups appreciate that you want pretty much one of each of the core classes. Now if you've got 5 or 6 players, most groups will probably err towards another fighter, another cleric. If you've got 6 players, I'm talking primarily about 5 there, 6 players you'll probably have another fighter and another cleric. If you go into 7 players, there may well be another magical type of character. Maybe if it's you know, you might not have a wizard if you've got very much a wilderness campaign. It might be a druid you've got, but effectively you've got one of each core class. Hello, Bubbles. So that's effectively what works best. Now it doesn't matter what level you play at, and it doesn't matter where we're talking about. I mean, we could be talking about high level play here. It's pretty clear to me that if you've got those cores covered, everything works. Now I've heard several arguments on the forum which really make no sense. People were talking about druids are far more powerful because they've got wild shape, and they've got more powerful because they've got the ability to summon creatures. I'm sorry guys, being a very experienced DM, if a character wants to stand there for a full round action, which effectively for those not familiar with the rule set means that they have to wait till the next round, so they have to start casting, then they have to wait till the next round on their initiative they get the spell off. That's never going to fly at any level in one of my games. They'll be pressed long before they get the spell off, probably attacked, because enemy aren't stupid, well, unless you're playing in a game where of course they are. But that would never happen. So summoning is much more tricky to get off. And plus summoning's, you know, actually one of the most interesting thing about summon spells, you need to read up about the various low-level protection spells. There are, you know, have you realised, you know, like protection, what protection spells can do and how quickly they can actually stop certain creatures getting to you? So if you have protection from good as an enemy, as one of your very basic spells that you carry, it stops summon creatures getting to you. Guys, no disrespect, you need to know your spells. You also need to know your rules. It's pretty clear from some of the arguments that are out there that people really didn't understand that. And I'm not trying to be difficult here, I'm just trying to be logical. Being a DM who prides himself on running a high level game, or obviously low level to high level games, who understands the rules, who knows how to use them to his or her advantage, the reality of it is that what you're going to have is if you're playing in games where the referee doesn't have that gift, doesn't understand those rules, yeah, your games are going to be a little bit vanilla, like other editions RPG games that we've reviewed. So I'm not trying to be difficult here, I'm not trying to flame people's opinions, but what I'm saying is you really do need to read into the rules first before making any sort of sweeping judgments. Third edition is very balanced. Now, another argument that came out within the forum thread that I read, and I thought it was very interesting, great debate, started by a guy called Clockwork Joe, I love the title. Thieves actually are relevant at high level because it's not about finding traps or any of that business. It's actually, they're relevant, as anybody will know if they've seen my article on rogues, that the one thing that really makes them stand out is hide. Hide is the primary skill at high level for rogues with Move Silently that is very difficult for the enemy to overcome, because a rogue can have, you know, a high level, he could be in the 40s, the 50s, or even higher with a little bit of spell support. That's virtually impossible to spot him. So as far as a forwarding scout, or as far as a guy who can who can remain out of trouble for a little while, that is an invaluable skill played right at high levels, still very relevant. Of course, you've got to then tack on their sneak attack. It's all about timing, as my videos have shown. So I don't really want to get bogged into it, but as I'm going to say over and over again here, yeah, third edition, with a good group of players who understand about the mechanics of the game, like every role-playing game, it is a very, very balanced system, particularly if you've got a very good DM and the group know how to get the best out of it. The problem with third edition, and I think this may be where some of the people's threads and some of their arguments come from, and they are quite right, is that some of the splat group classes, i.e. things like sorcerers, things like barbarian, etc., on their own just aren't as good as the straight core classes. Unfortunately, that is a weakness of the edition. But D&D has never really been about balance. In fact, actually, if it was balanced, it would be very vanilla. And sometimes people get the most amount of fun out of classes that actually aren't particularly the best, that they have to work particularly hard at. You know, is that wrong or right? You know, I'm not here to say, but I am just giving a point of view where I think this is such an interesting argument on third edition rules, because it's been raised and I thought it would be brilliant to actually flag it up. So this is why I'm covering off. So from my point of view, yeah, third edition is balanced. If you've got a good DM, a good group of players who know what they're doing, it works fine. You can multi-class in third edition, but you have to be particularly careful, and these are the reasons why. And this again came slightly out in the forum but wasn't really touched on, and you can't do justice to it in a text argument. If you play spellcasters in third edition, irrespective of third ed or 3.5, and you try and multi-class them, so I take some clerical levels and take some wizard levels, what you're really doing is diluting the character down, and it becomes more obvious at high level play, because, for example, if you were playing a 5th level wizard, 5th level cleric, both your classes will be casting 3rd level spells, and you'd be equivalent to a 10th level caster. But a 10th level caster is casting 2 spell levels higher than you, and that is a huge impact on you personally, because without a doubt the enemy are not stupid, they'll cast their best spells first. So of course it starts diluting the character, of course you're weakening it down, of course you're not getting the most out of it. I'm not saying what are the best options to play here, but what I am saying is if you want a character that has good survivability, the way that you achieve that is through the group and not through the individual class. There's not an argument to say that one class is better than another. Sure, wizards have more diversity, but no wizard that I know of, no matter how great a character they are, knows that at high level play there are so many things they can do, but without a group around them they're incredibly vulnerable, and boy do they love their fighters. Anyway, this has been Outsiders. My name's Sean Connors, and this was a alternative view of third edition balance for those that are watching. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck to you all, and speak to you soon. Take care.